being redrawn. Now, this was happening already. We were already experiencing Saturn and Neptune in Aries in July and in June, but they get closer to conjunction in August. So there's an intensification of the effort to dissolve one boundary and build another. There may also be a sense of disillusionment in the Aries place in your life, a sense of realizing that you had over idealized a pursuit or you had underestimated how much it was going to require of you. But that Saturn Neptune can be problematic as it gets closer to conjunction in August. This is maybe when the new way of being, the new order, the new paradigm, the new belief system, the new nihilism really begins to solidify with Saturn and Neptune conjoining in August. It may feel like the intensification of the ongoing cultural reset. This fresh start you've seen coming for months in your own life is finally taking place. So I don't want to suggest that we are all going to be feeling disillusioned and nihilistic. Culturally, that's already with us, right? We're already seeing this in the collective. Personally, though, Saturn and Neptune may challenge your beliefs in what's possible. It may also solidify a dream. That's another way to look at it. I think the dream gets challenged in August. Mars is going to oppose both Saturn and Neptune. And Mars tends to bring with it a little bit of trouble, a little bit of aggravation. And when it gets opposite, that's a hard aspect, that's a challenge, that's a confrontation. And it can be that we overcome the disillusionment. It can also be that we kind of have to reach a point of exhaustion first, and then we surrender to the reality. But Mars opposite Saturn and Neptune could be challenging. That's the short way of saying that. This is an August 8th through August 10th that it's the most intense, but I'm going to say it's the first half of August with a wide orb. So the Saturn and Neptune and all of the Uranus, Pluto, those outer planet changes, right, that have been lining up like dominoes to move into new places since late March are all in place now in August, and they get closer than ever to an alignment, to the perfection of their alignment. So this is the fresh start that I'm talking about in the Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius areas of your life. But like a newborn colt, not colt, like a newborn colt, you're standing on wobbly legs, like all of us. Like this is a new way of being, and we aren't really comfortable with this yet. We're just trying to get our arms around the enormity of it, right? So you want to give yourself time in August to recalibrate to this new way of being. August astrology is the most conspicuous sign yet of the new chapter unfolding for you and for the world at large. So, this is the month when our era defining alignment begins to really cohere. The transcendental formation of Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto come as close as they will get to perfection in 2025 during the month of August. By February 2026, we will have even more information, more clarity, and the new reality becomes very, very clear. In July of 2026, we'll have yet another activation of this alignment. But, we are entering in August a really formative month, I think is a good way to put it. It's formative, especially for those with strong Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius placements, or any placements that make hard aspects to those signs, or even trines. In August, we glimpse that next decade. We really get a sense of the next, really, certainly the next 5 years, but even the next 10 years. So we may be feeling a bit overwhelmed and or excited by experiencing this profound awakening with that ongoing Pluto-Uranus trine. This new form of enlightenment, a technological force de majeure, something undeniably future oriented, is accelerated and unstoppable, and is poised to change our entire understanding of information, education, the internet, AI, travel, and society as we know it. Now, this was true in July as well. It is even more true in August as Saturn and Neptune make their perfection, and Uranus and Pluto get closer to their precise trine as well. But since Uranus entered Gemini on July 7th, we've seen an unfathomable acceleration of AI video, of ways that AI is now entering the classroom. We're seeing in Texas the first school year beginning with an AI involved curriculum for elementary students, which is a Gemini ruled area. And AI upgrades are likely to be announced in September as well. We're really in that peak period of the year. We're going to start to see even more information and acceleration of Uranus and Gemini, but the whole Pluto and Aquarius thing too. September, I think, is going to be pretty significant as well. So consider the Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius parts of your natal chart. This is where the unstoppable forces are bringing a whirlwind of change and evolution. We're grappling with how cultural forces are supporting the hard choices we have to make in our own families, or vice versa. We are being challenged in our own lives to make hard choices because of the cultural forces at play now. Perhaps these changes are motivators for us to go for something that up until now seemed out of reach, something too hard, wishful thinking, too selfish, but we're reaching a moment that feels as if history calls for fearless endeavors. This is kind of like the astrology, and I don't want to say like the pandemic, but like the pandemic forced people into resetting their entire lives. We are seeing how people are losing careers because of some of these massive governmental disintegration. People are being forced to pivot, completely pivot, and it's freeing them up in some cases to do the thing that they otherwise wouldn't have pursued, because they would have been able to come up with all kinds of reasons why not. But this is kind of a time when all the old rules do not apply. And so we are freed up to be that that authentic version of ourselves, that more ideal version of ourselves. It does take courage though, right? It does take faith and trust in ourselves, in our abilities to, move through something really challenging and continue to believe in ourselves and the dream that we're pursuing. So the two lunations this month are going to be what I'm focusing on because they involve all the other transits that are ongoing. And those will be August 9th, the Aquarius full moon, which I've already touched on a little bit here, and the Virgo new moon on August 23rd. So the first is the full moon at 17 Aquarius on August 9th, and this illuminates the challenges of achieving an individual mission while also preserving a safe place in our family, our society, in our world. We're facing down a conflict that maybe we ourselves set up, but we're better equipped to handle it than we realize. So this speaks through the Mars-Saturn opposition, which is so important in that full moon. The full moon is ruled by Saturn in Aries, which is being confronted by Mars in Libra. So the obstacle is already apparent to us by August 9th on the full moon. Mars and Saturn oppose perfectly on August 8th. And we are faced with an enormous hurdle that we just aren't sure we have the capacity to overcome. And yet the choice has been made for us by fate. So the key in this full moon is to recognize that we cannot do it alone. This is something we have to reach out to our community, our collective, for support, despite our efforts being thwarted, maybe by indecision or self doubt. The winds of change are providing a strong push in this new direction. And yet there is trepidation, there's a high stakes feeling to meet this moment with courage. But there's also support for this level of transformation if we look for it.